What's going on? Polo Sports Talking ENT here again with another one. Make sure y'all hit the like and the sub and the comment, notifications, do all that good stuff. You know the deal, you know the drill. Now, Mike Tyson has came out and basically stated that he wants Canelo to absolutely destroy Caleb Plant, and he believes that Canelo will destroy Caleb Plant. Um, as you know, Mike Tyson was the youngest former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and you know, never can take that away from him. And one of the great one of the greats to ever do it. You know, everything is set up, for November the 6th, and you know, it's been a lot of controversy ever since the press conference. Okay, now here's what Mike Tyson had said. Okay, uh, he was on hot boxing, and he pretty much had said this. He said Caleb Plant will be destroyed. Okay, uh, Alvarez will kill him. It's that simple. If if he's your friend, you will go to his funeral. I think Plant doesn't stand a chance, and I'm just gonna be real. I agree with Mike Tyson. I agree with where Mike Tyson is coming from. What's up with it, James? I see you in the building. Y'all go subscribe to Nola Boy Sports and News. Um, Definitely always bringing good content, and is one of the great minds in the LDBC when it comes to all sports. So salute to that boy James. But as I was saying, Mike Tyson knows what he's talking about. Now, true enough, I kind of get down on Mike Tyson just a little bit because of the fact that when he fought legitimate competition, he didn't exactly show up when he needed to show up. But he knows how supremely gifted Canelo is, and Caleb Plant, man, I think he's looking at this fight like this is going to be a walk in the park. He has never faced anybody quite like Canelo. He has never faced anybody supremely gifted as a Canelo. We talking about Canelo Alvarez, who is a silent assassin, and now he's on full savage mode, and he's ready to annihilate anybody standing in his way. And see, when he's on the top, it's funny that when nobody was really talking about this guy, they barely had anything to say about him in terms of the steroid allegations, in terms of him, being a cheater and, all this other stuff, just pinpointing his flaws. And now that he's on top, the whole world wants to come at him. Well, it's more fuel to the fire. And come November the 6th, y'all are going to see Canelo annihilate this man. Caleb Plant was doing all that talking, even went so as far to talk trash about Eddie Reynoso, which was disrespectful. Then they want to bring up the fact that Canelo was saying stuff about people's mom, which isn't true. They just want to sit up there and try to push every narrative that they can to try to throw him off his game. But see, Canelo is too smart for that. He's too slick for that, just like he is in the ring. Ever since the Mayweather fight, he has went nothing but up. Yeah, some people want to bring up the Triple G fight, but he was able to avenge the draw and came back in great fashion and redeemed himself, even though I felt like he won both fights. So I'm glad Mike Tyson was able to, put this out there. He has great respect for Canelo, and all of the other greats have great respect for Canelo, just like Andre Ward. He has respect for Canelo, and they tried to sit up there and try to push that narrative as if though they were gonna fight again or something like that. Yeah, exactly, James. If you love Canelo, if you appreciate boxing, you'll love a guy like Canelo and what he brings. He's an extremely hard worker. Now, Mike Tyson did say this, James. He did say this. He said that he's going to have to work the body, which Canelo is. If you watch his fights, he's always worked the body because the I would say the last three fights, he's been clearly undersized. He's always given up at least 5 to 6 inches, and that hasn't stopped him because he's been able to stop uh, all the chop down all of the trees. You know, so he'll work the body. Plant's gonna get out of control, and he's gonna let his ego, which he really shouldn't have any type of ego. If anything, he should be appreciative that he's getting a chance to get in the ring with one of the greats. And after this fight, and after it's all said and done, once he gets this fight done, he'll be undisputed, and nobody can ever say anything. He's pretty much wiped out the whole entire division in terms of the middleweight. So his next step is going to be either to fight Benavidez or to fight Charlo, and people are wanting him to fight Charlo. I want him to fight Charlo. I think that would be a great matchup, and it would be a great for the fans too. You know, he likes Spencer, love love that body. Plus, he hit hard, ripped hard. Yeah, exactly. Spence is gonna bounce back. I'm interested to see what's gonna take place, really with the Crawford and the Porter fight, and that's going to be happening on November 20th. Look, James, we got boxing coming back to back to back fights. You got Deontay Wilder and you got Tyson Fury coming up. Then you got Canelo and Caleb Plant. And then you got then put the icing on the cake. You got Crawford and then you have Porter. So we're coming back to back to back. And they're trying to get it done. PBC, I think they hear the rumblings of how people feel. When Jake Paul is getting fights and selling out against MMA fighters and everything like that, but nobody's paying attention to the real fighters. I think the sport of boxing really sees that, and they're trying to bring it back in some instance. I'm interested to see how the heavyweight is going to bounce back. Okay, you think David Benavidez is? I think, in my opinion, I think Charlo is just Benavidez. You know, uh, he's he's questionable. I don't think that he would quite match up with Canelo. I think Canelo. I think the bigger challenge would be with Charlo. But some people feel like Benavidez could get him with the power, and people underrate Canelo's his punching power, in which he really has the punching power because he's been able to put several of the great fighters on the ground on their backs. He lost that fight. If it was if that was Nello, he would have killed Charlo that night. Throwing yeah, like yeah, throwing the damn towel. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. So I believe that Canelo will come in. He's gonna come in. He's gonna do damage and stuff. And see, people gotta understand that he's still, if he gets this win and he gets either Charlo, he gets somebody like a Crawford or somebody like a like a Spence or somebody like a Benavidez, that's the icing on the cake. And you can't really say anything about Canelo anymore. You know, people still want to bring up the fact that he lost to Mayweather. Hey, it's Mayweather. You know, Mayweather. 50 had tried, or 50. I think it was 51 have, unless you count the exhibition and all that Japanese dude and uh, Conor McGregor and all that. I don't count none of that. But 50 had tried, and 50 were unsuccessful. And you can't never take that away from Mayweather. You know, and he's one of the greats to do it. He's a defensive savant, the best defensive fighter since Pernell Whitaker. So anybody that sits up there and brings up that fight, Canelo was a baby during that time, but you see he hadn't lost anything since that time, and his defense has gotten much better. So he's gonna come in there, man, and he's gonna do some damage, man, and it's gonna be interesting, and it's gonna be a great fight. you know. So you tell me what you think. Like I said, y'all be sure to subscribe to my LDBC bro and Nola Boy Sports and News James. Channel's hot and it stays hot. Always bringing that funky and that real and that swamp and that gumbo that you're gonna like. Always keeping it a stack and keeping it a bundle and keeping it 100. Until then, like this video, share, subscribe. Also hit the notifications too. Till then, it's Polo Sports Talking ENT. I'm out.